Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Photoshop tutorials. So today, as you can tell by the title, I am going to show you how to use Adobe's built-in tools to take someone's face and put it onto someone else's face. And in this case, I'll be taking someone's face and putting it onto Superman's face. So we'll start by going to the picture that we want to replace Superman's face with, and we don't want this face to be way too small for this face. Like if this was, say, 100 pixels by 100 pixels and this was 500 pixels by 500 pixels, this we would have to stretch to go on to fit onto his face, and it just would not look good. So we want to make sure they're relatively the same size, or this picture with the face you want to transfer is larger, which in this case it is. So we're going to start by selecting our lasso tool. If you don't see it, then you right click right here, and you may be in like the polygon lasso tool, but right click that and click lasso tool, and then just kind of outline the guy's face. It doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you don't get any like hair or any of these wrinkle lines, and I just like to get about right there. And then select this tool up top and just drag the face right onto this picture. And as you can tell, it isn't quite the right size or rotation yet, so you want to take the opacity down to, I like to take it down to about 50, and then hit Control T to pull this up, and then we can just use these to manipulate it. And you want to try to line up the eyes first. I always start with the eyes as a guideline, and then I line up the mouth, the nose. This needs to be rotated back a little more, but make sure you, like, right as you can, this is a good example because he has hair up here, a little curl of hair like Superman, and you don't want to cover that. So we'll just line these up and then hit enter, and you can take the opacity back up to 100. If you need to delete anything, like I'm gonna just kind of round, because that kind of goes off his face there, so I want to delete that. Kind of just want to round this off, make sure nothing goes into the hair. And then we're going to come over here and click on the image of Superman so that we have that selected. Then we're going to hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and don't click over here. Make sure you click on this little thumbnail so that that box with the edges pops up, and then you click on that thumbnail, and as you can see, that'll highlight this. And then you go to Select, Modify, Contract. Then once you get to contract, it really depends on the size of the images you're messing with. My images are really big, so I'm going to contract by 5 pixels. And that'll bring it down. You see it kind of brings the edges of the picture down. And you want it to be about that much. So if you have a pretty small picture, you'd only contract by 1 pixel and it would take it down that far. If it's a medium picture, then I would contract by 3 pixels and it would take it down that far. But for large pictures, I would choose 5 or even higher if it's larger picture. And then once you have that done, just hit the delete key. And if you get rid of that, you can see that it's deleted that from his face. That's what we want. Now hit Control D, and that will deselect this. And then we're going to select this layer, make sure it's selected, and then hold the Shift key and select the other layer. And you can see that now these layers are both selected. So we're going to go to the Edit, down to Auto Blend Layers. Make sure Panorama is selected. Make sure Seamless Tones and Colors are selected. And hit OK. And as you can see, it blends their faces together. Now this isn't a perfect picture, but it looks pretty good to me. Their faces weren't exactly tilted the right way, but it's still a pretty good picture. If you were looking at this, I'd think it was a real picture. That you can see that the colors have blended good, everything just blends well. That's all for this tutorial, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and if you have any suggestions for next videos, please let me know. Thanks. Goodbye.